What's up, everybody? We're going to be looking at MSTR and Bitcoin today. We closed the week at 351.63. Pretty solid gains this week compared to the last couple weeks. As you can see, we've just been trending downward, sideways, and then this prior week was a pretty brutal week. We made it from 341 all the way down to 292, about a 15% drop or 14% drop from the top of that week. A solid push from the low of 310 on this candle all the way up to 358 and finishing the week at 351.63. Pretty solid, closing at the top part of this range that we have here between these two levels. So now we are looking for this next target of a push above this structure, using this as support for a move up higher. Of course, we're looking for that close up here, retest for a continuation up there, and then on the bearish side it would look something like this, where we chop a little bit more, continue to fall, and look for lower targets. Right now, with this momentum and Bitcoin trending higher, it looks like the momentum has started to shift at least a little bit in the short to near term. We'll see how it plays out over the next couple weeks and months, but we are entering the last phase in terms of time, Q4 of 2025. Tops have been Q4 of the last year of each cycle. So it was 2017, 21, and now 2025. So that's kind of what we're looking at here in terms of time. Of course, it can always get extended and or shortened. You know, that's kind of how things go. Things are always subject to change, but we are in that time period or that time frame where things tend to go crazy. We'll see if it ends up happening. A very good sign here. MSTR closing back above its 50-week SMA. We haven't had a close. We closed like right on it this week, but we haven't had an actual solid close really since August 18th, because ever since August 25th that week, it's kind of just been on it or underneath. We actually closed pretty I don't know, maybe $5 or $6 above it, which is pretty solid. Looks pretty good. So now we'll be using that as a floor and eventually trying to break through the 20. But if we can close above the 50, or since we did close above 50, it's probably gonna have enough momentum to break through that 20 and push up higher. And on the daily, we actually closed right above our 200, which is amazing, because that's a very, very powerful sign. As you can see, we closed one day and now a second day in a row above the 200. Found a little bit of rejection off the 50, but since we close above the 200, we should be able to break through that 50. But we do have this key structure above our head, which is where we found that rejection at around 359, 360. Keep an eye out for those levels as we approach them. And also with this key structure right here above us, the ceiling, we have this blue Bollinger Band on the weekly, so that's going to be another reason for some rejection. Along with the daily, hopefully we can ride the red band higher, but expect rejection as well, like we've already seen. Doesn't mean that we can't push up and get rejected again, so be aware of that. With global liquidity, it has been pushing higher, so like I said prior, still expecting higher prices for Bitcoin, which it looks like we've already been seeing. Even during this drawdown, I was still saying, at least on Bitcoin, I don't know exactly what MSTR is going to do, because sometimes it has a mind of its own, because it has more factors and variables and third-party risk. But Bitcoin, through that down period, was pretty certain that we would see close to all-time highs, or if not break it. Just looking at global liquidity, still think we have higher to go. I don't know how much higher, but just in terms of this, it looks like we're going to get a little bit more of an extension for the cycle. Maybe it ends in the normal period of the Q4, maybe early Q1. On Bitcoin, looking really good right now. We're just waiting for the weekly close. We still have practically 2 days. We have 1 day and 21 hours. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. I mean, if we can get a close above this upward sloping trend line, that's going to be incredibly powerful, as we've only had 2 closes above it and they reverted back quickly. So not only is this candle important, but the following week, as you can see, we closed above it here, closed back underneath it, closed above it here, close back underneath it. So if we can get back-to-back candles, that would be the most bullish that we've seen Bitcoin in this entire cycle, really. So that would be an incredibly bullish sign, and then we can start talking about breaking these wicks and potentially touching this midline if we catch the momentum to go into price discovery mode and see higher targets. On the daily, we've been looking pretty solid. Day after day, just absolutely been tearing it up. This last close was very, very nice as we closed at 122.3. We did make it all the way up to 124 and found a little bit of rejection. Not surprised though, because the high was 124.5 and we touched 124, and that happened earlier on today. We're looking for a continuation of this move. The momentum is insane right now, which is nice to see. Hopefully it translates into MSTR. MSTR can continue to follow. MSTR did underperform again today by 1.69% when you look at MSTR divided by IBIT. The one thing that is a little not concerning, but just more of a gut feeling than looking at the charts. It has really nothing to do with like, I'm not saying there's anything bearish going on, but having no wick on the bottom of this candle it just makes me feel like we're going to see some kind of move to the downside at some point. I don't know how much higher we'll go. It could turn out to be a wick, but I hope I'm absolutely wrong. Like, I actually want to be wrong. I want this thing to keep ripping to the upside. I hope it's a green engulfing candle, but just with no wick on the bottom, it's just kind of odd. Like, if you look at every single candle here, it has some kind of wick on the bottom. It typically has a wick in either direction before it makes any kind of move. There's always some kind of wick. And even on this one, we didn't really get a wick on the bottom, but we wicked up top, and then the following month we had that huge indecision. We went all the way up here and almost back to the bottom of this candle here. So maybe that's what ends up happening, you know. So we're just going to be looking at that. In the meantime, on the monthly, we still have 27 days left, so a lot can happen. I hope this thing absolutely rips to the upside though. But we are looking pretty solid, man. This was a really, really nice candle to see. I mean, absolutely ripping through these levels. And like I said, the most important close that we could see right now would be back-to-back weeks closing in this area. That's going to be incredibly bullish, because now you're looking at some kind of retest of this upward sloping trend line for higher targets. The 20-week SMA was an absolute trampoline, and we shot right off of it. So that was a very nice move, as well as the 20 and the 50 on the daily. They are separating. The 20s pushing up higher, 50s lagging slightly behind, so showing a lot of upward momentum. As we can see, we've had something similar happen over here, so we'll see if we get something similar to that piece there that we got. Technically we already did, but we'll see if it's a more extended move than that one. So we have seen things like that happen before, where that 20 crosses a 50 and takes price higher. On the weekly RSI, we are breaking above our yellow moving average, trying to break into that bullish territory at the 70 mark, the overbought territory. And on the daily, we're slightly underneath overbought territory. But remember, these moves can stay overbought for an extended period of time. When you have that momentum, it can really drag on, which is nice to see. On the weekly, MACD still in bullish territory. We haven't even fallen into bearish territory. The bearish momentum has been drying up a little bit, which is nice. You can see the blue indicator starting to curl back up. So we'll see if that overtakes the orange. And here on the daily, we've already been looking bullish. We were already talking about the daily looking solid because we were talking about the past 2 trading days, or past 3 trading days, looking pretty bullish, as we got the flip from bearish to bullish. And now the momentum's already carrying into this week that we have right now. So that's pretty nice to see. I mean, absolute catapult from 108 to 124. So pretty nice to see. I'm sure everybody that's holding Bitcoin is excited. We'll see if the momentum carries on. MSTR divided by IBIT, it was okay, just sideways, still underneath this key structure. So it looks like we're still underperforming on MSTR compared to IBIT. we'll see if this ever flips back over. On the daily, we're still underneath our 20. We were slightly above it, but we saw that move over here where we went above it and then fell right back underneath. It looks like we did the same thing, but just a little bit quicker. So if we start to break underneath this wick of 475, you can probably anticipate that we actually break this entire structure. So be aware of that. Tether dominance, we were able to see that rejection off of this structure here where we were saying we could see some kind of upside on Bitcoin. The bearish idea is that we have a left shoulder ahead and forming a right shoulder for an inverse headed shoulders, which would mean that we see weakness on Bitcoin. That's the bearish idea. The bullish idea is that we have a bear flag that's formed and we are just playing that bear flag out, and we're just getting started for the big move down. So that's the bullish case. We'll see if we start breaking underneath this structure at 411, then the bullish or the bear flag, which is bullish for Bitcoin, is more than likely to play out, and then maybe we get our touch of the blue line, and that could be our cycle top, especially since it's Q4, because we'll probably get a major cool off period after touching the blue line. It'll probably be short lived. As you can see, it's normally very quick, and if you get lucky, you'll get a double bottom, but a lot of the times these moves are just like one tap and they're absolutely gone. So be aware of that. You don't really get too many touches when it comes down here. Be ready for it. I'll keep you guys updated, of course, but just understand once we get to the blue line, start thinking about, maybe shedding a little bit, or if you're going to be long term, you just hold on and just expect some kind of downside. Maybe you hold off on your DCA and you start to reaccumulate at a lower price, as we are already in a heated environment. So something to take into consideration. The other bullish scenario for Bitcoin, bearish for tether dominance, is that we have a left shoulder here. This is a head, and then maybe we chop up a little bit, push back down, form our right shoulder, and now you're talking about that's when we get our move to this blue line, and now we have a headed shoulders to the downside. As you guys can see, when you look at these charts, you can draw out plenty of different scenarios, so that's why there's really never a right answer. It's just what my eyes see. What my eyes see, you guys might see something completely different that I'm not even looking at right now. That's why you never really know what's going to happen. Now, the other thing too is that we were holding this trend line multiple times. You can see we had a touch here, a touch here, a touch here that we broke. A lot of the times you come to retest your breakout point, which we haven't even had a real retest of the structure. Maybe that's the move that we're looking for. Maybe we get that touch of this white line and the blue line in confluence together, and then that's our cycle top. I don't know, just a theory that I'm just throwing out there. But once we start to break this structure, which we already closed slightly underneath it, and we start breaking these wicks, I think we can have enough momentum to break through this. And when you take a look left, once you break this wick at pretty much 414 would have drawn out, we can probably make it down to the 4 mark pretty quickly, and that'd be incredibly bullish. If we hold this momentum and we just continuously get red candles day after day, that could really put Bitcoin at a higher valuation. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. It's looking pretty bullish right now. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think it's looking pretty solid right now for Bitcoin. I think we can definitely break through all-time highs, maybe hit that midline that we have drawn out. You guys let me know. Drop a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.